Over the past 35 years, I've had the privilege to help literally thousands of families avoid the Christmas money blowout. So in this video, I'm going to show you how to enjoy Christmas without the financial stress. I'm going to share with you 5 very simple tips that you can use to stay in control this Christmas so that you can get to Boxing Day having fully celebrated Christmas, having stayed within your budget without the guilt and without the fear of the January credit card statement. And if you'd like some extra help to get organized this Christmas, then can I encourage you to grab a copy of my free Christmas gifts list. The link is in the description below. It will help you plan, budget, and stay organized this Christmas. Okay, so let's get stuck into it. Let's have a look at the 5 tips for Christmas without the financial stress. Here is the agenda for today. Firstly, we're going to look at the importance of creating a Christmas gifts list. Then we're going to look at negotiating family spending limits. We're going to look at spreading the cost across the entire year. We're going to look at getting ourselves organized so it doesn't become a last minute panic. And then we're going to look at using rewards points for buying those gifts, buying food, and those sorts of things. And then we're going to look at don't be that person. Now, we'll wait till the end to talk about that, but I want to encourage you not to be that person. And you probably don't know what I'm talking about, but you will when we get to the end. And then we're going to look at a quick summary, a quick recap of everything that we've been through. Okay, so the first thing is the Christmas gifts list. Now, you can see here, this isn't just a Christmas gifts list. The worksheets that I use with all my clients has the name of everyone you think you're going to buy a present for, anyone you know you're going to buy a present for. There's some room for others down the bottom there as well for unexpected presents that you're going to have to buy throughout the year. Then we've got the Christmas list, the birthday list, and the others list. Now, of course, today we're focusing on Christmas. So what you want to think about is, who is it that I am going to buy Christmas presents for this year, and give yourself a realistic budget. Now, most people are quite shocked when they realize how much all of these gifts actually add up to across the course of the year. It's so much more than we can imagine. So can I encourage you again to download my free budget gifts list, my Christmas gifts list worksheet there, and that will help you just start to have a plan, create a plan for who am I going to buy for and how much am I going to allow for them. This is the first step towards spending less than you normally do. Okay. Then what we want to do is negotiate family spending limits. Now, this is a really big one. I would encourage you, don't be afraid to speak to your family, to speak to your mum and dad, to speak to your siblings about having family spending limits on what you're going to spend on each other, because it can become a bit of a competition. There can be this expectation that we go all out at Christmas time. Please don't let that be you. That is so unnecessary, and this is one of the reasons that we end up spending on gifts way more than we can actually afford, because there's this keeping up with the Joneses even within families. So I have this conversation with my clients on a regular basis. Sit down and work out what you can afford to spend, and then have a discussion with your family about this so that it's not your sister, for instance, coming in and saying, oh, let's all go in on a present for mum and dad, and then all of a sudden you're forced to be spending $100 when you can really only spend $50. Make sure there is a discussion. Do not be afraid to do it. And I promise you, there will be other people in your family going, oh, thank goodness someone had this discussion. It needed to be had, but I didn't want it to be me. So make sure you're putting limits on things with your family. Number 3, spread the cost across the course of a year. Now, obviously, I'm a big fan of budgeting and money management. And one of the biggest stresses at Christmas is that we try and fit all of Christmas expenses into December's income. So December's income comes in. December's already responsible for all the normal expenses we have, but now somehow we have to try and fit Christmas in there as well. We have to fit the gifts, we have to fit the hospitality and all the extra food, and it just doesn't work. And this is where the overflow then ends up on the credit card. You don't want to manage Christmas this way. The best way to manage Christmas is to have been planning for it all year. And you can see this is my Grandma's Jars budgeting software. This is the Christmas category of this client's budget. You can see that they started with a bit of a deficit in January. They had a bit of an overspend on last year's Christmas. But what we're doing here is you can see they're putting aside $141 every single month. Now that $141 is both for gifts and for extra food. Normally it's around an extra $20, $30 a month that you put aside so that you can cover the extra grocery spend, and then the rest is gifts towards Christmas. And we can see here, so they put in $141. They don't spend anything, so they put it in January, they put it in February, they put it in March. So we're adding this up in the budget, and you can see over on the right-hand side here, it's accumulating. So because they started with a deficit, 141 minus 86, they had $55 at the end of January. Then 196, then 338, then 480. And by the time they get to the months where they're actually starting to spend for Christmas, you can see they've got $1,300 sitting in the jar. And then they start the Christmas shopping in November and December. And you can see by the end of the year, they've spent it all, but December hasn't been responsible for putting the money aside. We haven't tried to extract all of the gifts money and the food money from our December income. We've spread it out across the entire year. This is such a powerful way, an enjoyable way to manage your Christmas budget so that there is no stress come January. The fourth way is to stay organized. Now, this is also in the Christmas gifts list worksheet you can download, but actually going down and going, okay, well, I've identified who I'm going to buy for. Now I need to identify, okay, this is how much I'm going to spend. What can I buy? What am I going to buy? Put some thought into, okay, for this amount, what can I buy this person? And then what you want to do is track it. Okay, I allowed $100 for a scarf for Leanne. I actually spent $110, so I've got a bit of a deficit there. But it swings and roundabouts. Some people you'll spend more on, some people you spend less on, but the goal is to stay approximately within your budget here. So you can see Hannah, she wanted some hiking shoes. So we allowed $100. We only ended up spending $90 because they were on special at Anaconda. So we actually spent $10 less. So you can see I've balanced up with what I spent over with Leanne. Having some kind of plan. Now, what this does is in having a plan, it means you go to the shops with a very specific, this is what I'm going to buy each person. If you can get there early as well, because one of the worst things we can do is leave it to the last minute, and we're there with millions of other people trying to get the gifts we want, only to find they're sold out of half the things that we want. You want to be able to get there in a time, unrushed, so that you can do your shopping methodically. So can I encourage you, by having a list, taking the time to create a list, everything happens so much easier. So that is the next thing. Get organized, have a list, know what you're going to spend, and try to get there early. And then the last thing here is use your rewards points. So many people have these rewards cards and they never actually use it. My wife and I, once a month, we have date day, and we've never had to pay for tickets to the movies when we go on date day because we always use our Flybuys points. Now, the number of times I tell people, they go, oh, never even thought of that. We don't use our Flybuys points or our rewards points for anything. Can I encourage you? It's a really good idea to all year use your rewards cards at your local supermarket, build the points up throughout the year, and then use them at Christmas time, because that in itself will cover all the Christmas spending on your food and probably a good chunk of your gift spending as well. So make sure that you're taking advantage of that throughout the year. Now, one last thing that I just wanted to cover, and that is don't be that person. And that person is the family member who decides that they're going to take responsibility for buying the gift for perhaps mum and dad. They go and just buy it, and then they just expect their siblings to contribute the same amount they are without actually ever consulting whether or not the siblings can afford to spend that much money. The reality is often people have different constraints on their budgets, different priorities on their budget. And it's really important before you just go out and make an executive decision on things that you ask, that you take the time to discuss it. You work out what each other can afford and then come up with a present that you can all do. Or do your separate things. But please do not be that person that is spending someone else's money and putting your priority onto them, because that can really ruin the Christmas for someone else. Most people, especially with the cost of living the way it is today, have really tight budgets. So please be considerate of that. Okay, so let's now have a look at the summary. In fact, before we have a look at the summary, if this has been helpful, please click the like button because that helps my channel reach more people. And please click subscribe because every week I release more practical, no fluff money videos to help you and your family thrive financially. So please click the like and subscribe. Okay, so let's have a look at a quick summary of what we've been through. Firstly, create a gifts list. Identify who you're going to buy for and how much you're actually going to spend on each person. And be realistic about this. Think about this in the context of your overall budget. How much can you really afford to be spending on gifts? And the second thing that we look at was to create spending boundaries with your families. Put limits on how much you're going to spend on each other, and perhaps even think about Kris Kringle. That is often a really good way to keep the spending down, but for everyone to get a really good gift. And the third one was to get organized. So create your list of who you're going to buy for, how much you're going to spend, and then decide, work out, well, what would be a good gift for each person, and then go to the shop giving yourself plenty of time to get it done. And I can guarantee you do those things alone and you will spend significantly less on gifts. We also looked at the importance of using rewards points, accumulating rewards points throughout the year so that when you get to Christmas, you've got this bank of rewards points that you can use for food or you can use for gifts. And lastly, please be considerate of other people's budgets. Yes, you might make gift giving a priority. Yes, you might have a higher income, but not everyone is in that situation. Please be considerate of other family members or colleagues in your workplace. Be considerate of where they might be at financially and don't just make executive decisions on behalf of others. So there we go. I hope that has been helpful. Please take to heart the idea of putting aside 1/12 of your expenses every month, because a number of clients that I have had who have said to me, Phil, for the first time in years, we absolutely loved Christmas this year because we had been accumulating the money all year. It was such a joy to be able to go to the shops, buy the presents, buy the food, knowing that we weren't going to end up with a credit card debt at the end of it. It's not hard to do. 1/12 of your Christmas budget every single month, and you will get to Christmas and you'll go, Phil, this was the best idea ever. Now, if you have found this helpful, this video has been helpful, please click the like, please subscribe, and please remember that it's a little habits and strategies that you put in place today that will literally make $1 million difference to your future. Take care, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.